Guys and gals, what's up? Hello, everybody. Yes, it's true. I got my hair cut off. Very happy to have some breathing room. I can actually hear things now. Anyway, welcome to today's training. I want to, while you're warming up and you're practicing, they're moving around a little bit. As some of you who've trained with me before know, I like to sometimes throw in some philosophy at the beginning and the middle and the end. So I'm going to throw in a little philosophy for today's training session and give us a little bit of a theme for today. So first of all, I've had a couple of different comments and questions about certain things that I've been teaching and sharing, and also certain things that people are experiencing during the pandemic. So this is one way of addressing a few of those things. So one of the questions that I was asked is that could I do something that is a little bit more vigorous and move some of the stagnant energy, because a lot of people have been sitting and they need to express maybe a little bit more. So could I do something that's a little bit quote unquote harder in nature, a little more like martial art, like that type of thing? So we're going to incorporate some of that today. To get out some of that excess that I talked about last session. I was talking about excess versus deficiency. If you're deficient and you have no energy, it might be easier to stand up and do like a standing tree meditation, even though it seems hard, and just stand there for 5 or 10 minutes. Now you got energy, now you can move more. But for other people, you're really stressed, you're agitated, you need to move like a little more vigorously and get off some of that energy before then going to standing tree meditation. So obviously we got a bunch of people here today. I can't like do it exactly, the class exactly perfect for you. So you got to play with it, work with it today as best as it fits you. But I'm going to show you some different flavors of some things, and I want to share some things with you from that perspective today. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot myself back. Find your space, move around a little bit. We're going to start shaking like so. Now I'm actually going to change the lighting here just slightly for you guys. I think this will improve the situation. Give me just a second. All right. I think that would be better for us. So you're moving your hands, going a little bit vigorously, okay? We need to shake off. If you don't feel like shaking vigorous, you're kind of lazy, feeling lazy or tired or whatever, anything like that, you can go slower. But if you feel a little more like you want to get something off, you want to like get some excess off, you got like excess energy, then shake a little bit more. So instead of just using the wrists, see, like I don't have a lot of energy, I just use the wrists. Okay, or if I just want to like work subtle chi. But if I want to use a little more energy, I use a whole arm, like just shaking the arm, whole arm like this, a little more vigorous here. And then I'll bring those up to even say here, like level of my head, my ears, and I'm shaking side to side, but it's vigorous. It's very rapid, okay? And then I could bring my hands down, same thing. Vigorous here. Gives an interesting vibrational sort of feeling to it. Shaking, and then stop for just a moment. Let that energy run up. Hold your feet to the floor a little bit. Keep your balance there. Watch your breath. When it feels like you can take an inhale, a good inhale, slowly inhale through the nose, pull the breath up. But as you're pulling the breath up into the lungs, then push it down into the belly, hold your belly tight, and then let the breath out. Oh. Good. We're gonna start off with a waterfall here, so we're gonna slow bend down, slow come up, inhale if you like, or breathless practice. And here, if you are breathing, you're gonna let the exhale out here. A little bit of exhale, slow inhale. Exhale. Oh, a little bit of sound there like that. Oh, it's a guttural sound. Oh. Now check it out, do it one more time. It should be obvious to you that this is very slow motion. It's Qigong, right? You take that same motion and you inhale slow through the nose and you make a little sound like you now have martial art. You inhale at the end. Now that can also just be considered hard style Qigong. But it starts to become likened unto martial art. And so if somebody has their hands on you, for example, and you come down with your breath, it becomes martial art. It's Qigong, but it's also martial art. So sometimes it's just hard Qigong to clear the body and the mind. Has nothing to do with fighting someone else, just has to do with breathe, clear the mind. Now bring the hands here, closed fists. If we make it slightly likened unto martial art, in other words, if we were really using this, we would want the thumbs to go over the first two fingers, like so. There we go. Okay, over the first two fingers. So you're like this. And from here, it's like this. It's out, in, out, in. So you're not touching your hands and you're not going way out over here. It's close. And you should feel this like in the muscles in your arms and so on, some degree of tension there. And you're going here. And you should be getting warm. Now you can start to make somewhat, it's not 100% a circle like that, but there's a little bit of circle action in there too. So it's side to side, and you can also have some circling action. So you're shaking, whatever's comfortable, okay? You want to go a little harder, go a little harder. You want to go a little softer, go a little softer. You know, you're at home, do whatever you want to do. Bring your arms up, bend them like this. If you're not sure which way to go, just stick out your thumbs. You should be going like this, okay? But now once you understand, bring your thumbs back to where we put them before, okay? So once you understand, bring the thumbs in and put them on the fingers. And when you're doing this, check this out. Out here, no good. Not only is it bad for your shoulders in martial art or that kind of idea, no more power. Your power's in here. So bring your hands as if you were doing this, but you don't have to, see? But it's like touch, come out, touch, come out. And notice I just come out to here, the edge of my shoulder. This is where all my power is. See? In, out. In, out. And don't hurt yourself. Don't tweak your shoulders or whatever. Work within your own capacity. But it's in, out like this. In, out like this. And somewhat relaxed. The arms are not totally tense. The shoulders are not totally tense. There's some degree of tension in the fist, but there's some degree of relaxation happening also. Okay? Then from this position, the hands come down. Okay? In martial art, this would be referred to as double downward blocks. These are downward blocks. Okay? Downward. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of just shaking now we're deliberately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to go in this outward direction. This is considered an outward block in martial art. So again, if you're not sure, stick your thumbs out. They should be pointing to the left and pointing to the right. From this position, come in and actually touch your hands. Just touch them nice and gentle. And then go out, but only go out as far as your shoulder. Don't go any further. I don't want to see any of this. Go in, go out to here. Go in, go out to here. This is where all your power is. Go in, go out. Go in, go out. In, out. To whatever degree of tension you want to do, but I recommend not being too tense. Your shoulders will hurt too much later and you won't like it. Come in, go out. Come in, go out. Now take your hands, go down and drop your waist a little. Down. Now go out. Now go. shoop, shoop, shoop. It's just like a shh, and then add like a oop at the end. Shoop or shoop, anything like this. Shoop, 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 shoop. Extend. Somewhat long arms, elbows are not locked out. And then shoop, here. Shoop. Then here, shoop, here, shoop, here, shoop, here, shoop, here, shoop. Then waterfall. Inhale, relax, take a deep breath, smooth it out. Oh, you get rid of some of that erroneous chi, that frustrated chi. You smooth it out now. Bringing up the sea of chi, we come up, continuing to smooth it out. Right hand comes up the center line. From this position here, you come down the left arm, down the left hand, brush it off. Change positions, right hands to the side, come up slow. Move up through here, brush down the arm, smooth it off, let it go. Come back to a waterfall. Inhale, little exhale or breathless, just coming down. And again, one more. Good. Now, some of you know the exercise circling hands. We're going to do a circling hands, but we're going to do it from a sideways kind of position. We'll see how this works. I'm going to watch it in the camera and see how we can do this here. So if I'm standing facing you guys, I'll start off that way. Take your left hand, hold it up in the air. Make sure it's your left hand. Take your left hand, bring it across your center line. You see, this is my center line. I have a very obvious center line. I'm going to come across my center line by turning my body toward my right. So if you're not sure, touch your right shoulder. Now you should be sure. That's where your hand needs to be. So let's come back. The very first movement, I'm going to pick up my left hand. I'm going to bring it across my center line, and I'm going to touch my right shoulder. From that position, I'm going to let my hand slide down my body and get out of the way. It's going to come over here toward my lower dantian, and it can even come over here like toward my hip. Okay? With my right hand now, I'm going to lift it up just like I did with the left hand, and I'm waving with my right hand. I'm going to bring it across my center line. I'm going to touch my left shoulder over here. I'm going to brush down, and you should see like your two hands are meeting now, right? So get your left hand out of the way by bringing it up again. Now, where's your right hand? It's back down by your waist or over by your hip. And from this position, left, we're starting over again. So left hand comes over here, touches the right shoulder. You brush downward. The right hand lifts up to wave. There it is. From that position, I bring the right hand over to my left shoulder. I bring it down the body. The left hand picks up, my right hand somewhere around my waist. My left hand picks up, wave with it. From right here, bring it to your right shoulder. Now, if you understand the movement, actually, I'm going to show you one more variation to understand the movement, and then we'll try and quicken it a little bit. So now I'm going to show you the same idea. We're going to do it slightly differently to understand the principle and then hopefully get into the flow of it sooner rather than later. So now what I want to teach you is take your left hand and tap your right shoulder and let it out of the way, and then take your right hand and tap your left shoulder. And now I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think there's anybody on this video stream that can't do that. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you take your left hand, tap right shoulder, then right hand taps left shoulder. Once you understand it, I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at my arms. Do you see them? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see how this movement is in there? This movement is in there. If you don't understand this movement, then just tap the shoulders, because the movement is right there. That's the movement. Okay, so once you understand the movement, then try and not touch the shoulders and just get this movement going. Now you have circling hands. Okay, so if you're just using your hands and you're just using your arms, that's a good beginning. As time goes on, you want to shift your weight and use your waist play with that, okay? But for right now, if you're not sure, shoulder, 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 just do that every time. When you feel comfortable, start to break off and keep your hands in this motion. Keep your hands in this motion, circling hands, all right? A lot of times we do circling hands, you see it from this position where I'm back and I'm doing it from here. This is the same thing, but now I'm going to be facing my right side, just like we were, and I'm doing this motion, okay? And again, if you can't do that yet, tap, 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 tap. All right, good. Let's do one waterfall just to clear our mind, and we're going to come back to the next piece of that exercise. So inhale, hold the breath, slow, exhale, put it in the ground. Come up when you're ready. Inhale, exhale. As you sit, when you're ready, come up. Inhale, exhale. All right, good. Now let's put this together. So from this position here, we're going to go, whether we're tapping or we're just circling the hands, we're going to try and do it twice. So we're either going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, which denotes 2 full rounds, or we're going to go 1 and 2. We did it twice. Do you understand? That's a full cycle, which is 4 taps. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we do it like this, we have once around, twice around. That's what we mean by twice. If that makes sense. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, simplest version. Now we're going to take this right hand and we're going to wave up like this. This is meant to be like a snake. A lot of the original Qigong and martial art movements came from mimicking animals. Notice it's not just this. I'm like waving my, it's with mindfulness, move that hand and that arm and the body as if it's a snake. And this is like a snake when it strikes, kind of moves like this. So it's an up and down motion. And again, you want to try and feel this in your whole body. So let's just do this for a minute. Whole body, just this right arm, up and down, up, down. Maybe a pull in and forward. This is like the striking motion of the snake. So down, up, down, pull it in, come out with a striking motion. This is like a strike. So we're going to do it a couple more times and we'll put it together. Down, up, down, up, pull it back, struck. Okay, this is the motion of the hand. So now what we're going to do is, if you watch me one time, I'm going to go, I'll just do it quick. 1, 2, there's my 1, 2, here comes my snake. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, add the snake. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to let that hand continue to travel, and I'm going to add the snake move, this like snake-like movement. If you understand the flow of it, don't need to touch your shoulders. You have circling hands, goes 1, goes 2. This right hand travels up, comes down like so. I'm going to do it again. I go around 1 time. I come around 2 times. And this lifts up and this comes down. Now notice when we're practicing the circling hands, remember, if you remember the little details, when the left hand comes across my center line, which direction do I want to move? My dantian. I want to move my dantian in the same direction that that hand is traveling. So when my left hand comes across, I twist my body. My left hand's moving to the right, I twist my body to the right. Then when my right hand starts to come, and it comes across my center line, my body moves and pivots toward the left, the pelvis does. And then my left hand comes up, and I'm staying here until the left hand travels across the center line, and then I'm pivoting again, okay? You don't need to remember all of that today, but that's for those of you that are working with that, and so on. Then from this position, the right hand, and we won't worry about the posture and the body work and so on, the body position exactly just yet. I mainly want you to get this idea of up, down, down. And if we want, we pull this in and this becomes like a striking motion, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. This is not the most effective fighting art at all. It's not the most effective form of self-defense. It is an awesome Qigong practice. Anyway, that's my little take on that. That's also to give you a mental break for a minute. So now take your right hand, hold it up. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, okay? And we'll take a break, we'll move to some other exercises and then we'll come back to this. But we're gonna do it on the other side, so try and stay with me. Right hand is up. We're gonna travel across to the left shoulder. Tap it, right? So this is our 1, then left hand, right shoulder, 2, then right hand, left shoulder, 3, 4. Once you understand it, it's just 4 taps, opposite shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again, I'll start with my right hand up. Right hand taps my left shoulder. Now my left hand taps my right shoulder. Now, vice versa, right hand, left shoulder. One more time, left hand, right shoulder. So just do this a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like straight out of the Karate Kid on the level that it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because by learning how to do some simple movement, 2, 3, 4. There's so much martial art that comes out of that, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and also Qigong, of course. So right hand comes up like this, travels toward your left shoulder, okay? And now what? It moves down. As it moves down, the left comes up. That takes time to get the brain to do that for you. Then from here, I pivot my body slightly. The left hand comes over. The right hand comes up, and I have another circle. So again, those of you who don't know it yet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those of you who don't want to play with it, let the hands be a little more free flow. Looking towards your left, and the hands are a little more free flow. If you understand the first part of the movement. If not, do the first part of the movement over and over again until you understand the free flow of it. So the hands are now moving in a circular fashion, okay? This is very good for Qigong. This also, in certain martial arts, it's like a windmill. So the idea is that somebody's punches and kicks might get tied up in this windmill. This is kind of how they use it in a kung fu-like practice. So now the hands are moving around like this. They're continuing to circle, right? And again, you wanted to work with the height, shifting the body posture, because that's where your real power would come from and does come from. So you want to play with that. And then let's isolate this here. Left hand up, left hand down. Body posture maybe comes up somewhat, comes down. Draw it back, and this becomes like a strike, okay? Like a snake strike. So down, up, strike. Come down, come up, strike. Come down, come up, strike. So to put it together, we have this movement, either tapping, or hands are more free flow, and then the snake goes 1, 2. Free flow, and then the snake goes 1, 2. Free flow, and then the snake goes 1, 2. Good job. Come on to that one waterfall. Inhale, arms up high. Exhale, let it come down. Tap your legs out. All the way down, tap. Tap the arms. Tap the arms. All right. Now, there are a lot of folks that say Qigong is this, Qigong is that, Qigong's not this, Qigong's not that. If you haven't heard all that, well, welcome to the community. Because in the community, everybody thinks they have the way. I teach sort of a mixed martial art way, only in my case it's mixed Qigong. As Bruce Lee said, absorb what's useful, throw out the rest. So there are some people who say, well, it's supposed to be doing like this, do it like that, blah, blah, blah. Do it what you enjoy, do what works for you, make it useful. Having said that, in China, at the Shaolin Temple, even to this day, you see martial art and Qigong very much merged. That's how I grew up and that's how I came to practice. I'm going to show you another set of practices that comes out of that idea, that philosophy, and that practice. You can ask the question, is it martial art or is it Qigong? It's actually both, and it just depends on how you use it. So here we go. It's going to be a little mini form for you. So we're going to start off with what I showed you here, which is this movement of the circling hands. So you got to get this first. So you got to have the tap, 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 okay? Once the hands are more free flow and you got this going on, show it to me. Just let them free flow. Let them free flow. This is like a windmill, okay? Right now, I'm not going to emphasize how you should do it. I just want you to make that motion regardless of how you're doing it, okay? And if you don't know how to do it, you touch the shoulder, 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 all right? So we got this motion going on. Once you make 2 cycles of this, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but the main idea, right, in general is like 1 time, and there goes 2 times. So I went around twice with both hands. 1 time, 2 time. With this, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. That equals 2 times around in a circle. Once, twice, okay? From that position here, we got this snake thing on this side. All right, so we have snake goes. Now we're going to turn, we're going to look the other direction. So from here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, or we have 1, 2 cycles of this, and then we have raise the hand, come down. All right, let's try and put it together. We look to our right, and we go around once, twice, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? We raise the hand up, we come down. We turn, we look the other direction, left. We come around either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 2 times. Come up, snake, up, down. Okay? From that position, you go to a waterfall. Inhale. Here, I told you earlier, right? This could be a little bit of a like martial art. You put it in the ground. From this position, both of your hands, your elbows will kind of come up. You're going to rotate your hands around, and you're going to touch them together like this. Boom. Okay? This is Qigong practice. In martial art practice, some bad guy's neck might be right in the middle of this situation. All right? So from this position here, you're like this. Then bring your hands back to you. And then from here, it doesn't matter which arm's on top. You're going to cross the hands over so it looks like this. Once again, in a bad guy situation, the person's neck might be right in between these arms here. So we have this position, come in, we have this position. So we come in, 1, well, let's start it here, let's say 1. Here is 2, here is 3. So we have 1, we have 2, and this would be like the height of your own neck, 3, but I'm just showing it to you down here at my waist so you can see the hands emphasize. 1, draw in, come out, 2. Bring the hands from this position. Here's our 1, technically, I said, and here's 2, technically, and here is 3. Okay, so we have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Where this starts to become very Qigong-like is when you do it rhythmic, where you go like ha, 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 with the breath, do you see? Ha, then ha, then ha. So here, I'll slow it down, ha. Here, ha. I bring the hands to me, and then I cross them, ha. It's weird positions, right? It tricks the brain too. That's why it's good for you. Ha, here, ha. Bring the hands back. Doesn't matter which hand comes over the other, but you just cross your arms like so. Okay? So we have movement number 1. We have movement number 2. We have movement number 3. Sorry, 1. Here 2. Here 3. If we isolate just 2 and 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Not hurting your hands or anything, just touch them, just touch them. Draw it back. Doesn't have to come all the way, just a little bit. Then the hands, you notice the rotation, they turn over. Here, okay? And here. Here. And technically the way I'm showing you this would come up to the height of my own neck. So if we just isolate this part for a moment so you understand the movement, we have this to the neck. This here is 2 elbows to maybe the bad guy that's trying to bear hug you. But it's actually a Qigong practice because your power comes by bringing things close to your Dantian. And then with your breath and with your mind, this becomes ta. So for example, in this, we could have ta with the elbows, and then we have ta with the arms out. And we have ta, 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 ta. And then the arms crossed, ta, and then elbows, ta, and then ha, and then ha, and then ha, and ha, and ha, right? And breathe. Notice how good that feels. If you get a rhythm of that with the breathing and the sound, and then you go and do a waterfall, it's very soothing. It's very cathartic. So let's isolate this part, okay? And again, especially if you're new, I don't expect you to get all of this today. Don't even try. But take pieces of it later. You can go back, watch the recording, and you know, things will be easier to follow, okay? All right, take a breath there. I said recording, I have to make sure it is recording, and it is. That's the good news. All right, so let me isolate the hands again, okay? Go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring the hands here all the way back, just for understanding. Elbows all the way back, and then hands forward and across. Elbows back, forward and across. Here, here, here. Not too much muscle, just movement and breath. Pull in, come out. In, come out. So let's check it out. Let's see what we got so far for this little mini form, all right? So let's come back to where we were here, and some of your brains are being stretched. I can feel it. It's fantastic. Try and stay with it. So remember, simplicity. Left hand we start with. From left hand, 1 shoulder, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So if you're not sure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoulders, right? If you have a little more fluidity, we got 2 times around, something like that. It can be 3, it can be 4, you know. So you're practicing, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, whatever. With the right hand now, to your right side, up, down, like a snake. Now, check out the right hand. It does the snake thing. And then watch, you know how in the beginning I said raise your right hand and then go to your left, right? That's how we started, right? From the right side when we did it like that. So right from the snake position, just go right over to your other shoulder. So you go here, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So here on the right side, waving up and down like you're painting with a brush, or you've got a snake, some snake action going here. And then from here, the right hand just travels over to the left shoulder. There's my 1 tap, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So one more time for the beginning. We lift the left hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, or we come around a couple of times, and with the right hand to my right side, it goes up and it goes down. The right hand travels over to my left shoulder. There's my 1, my 2, my 3, my 4, whether I'm touching or not touching. With the left hand, it continues to travel. There's my snake. There's my snake here, okay? From that position, we're go 1 waterfall. Here is a little bit of little oomph, like a little sumo action, all right? From this position here, the hands come around like this, like in a chopping motion. The elbows come back, and the arms go forward in this direction. This is how far we've gotten so far. Inhale. Oh. Inhale. Oh. Standing Wuji posture for a moment. Try and bring your focus right between your third eye, right between your eyebrows. Relax shoulders. Legs are like tree trunks holding you in the ground. Try and bring your mind out of its thinking mode. Try and put it into its intuitive mode by bringing your attention right to the front of your forehead, and do not let your attention go away from the front of your forehead. When your mind starts trying to think and be confused or be frustrated or this is hard or like whatever it's got going on, bring your concentration to the forehead and concentrate there. Don't let go of your attention right there. Hold it. Make your body and make your brain show up for you. Inhale. Exhale. Shake it out. Kind of stomp your feet. Get a sip of water if you need to. Stretch your legs for a minute. Take a little brain break. A little bouncing if you'd like. All right, just like all of them, I want you to be careful, but particularly I also want you to be careful about this one. This technically is not kicking. Technically, it's going to be a position of lifting the leg. I'm not actually right now teaching you how to kick. I'm just teaching you how to lift the leg and to gain some flexibility and to also work on your balance, your breath, your coordination. So with this particular exercise, bring your feet together. You're going to slide back on a 45-degree angle. This is our surfboard position, okay? Or sometimes we do this as our Bruce Lee position. Lately, I've been doing it as you're on a surfboard. So from your surfboard position, I want to lift my back leg to the front. Doesn't matter how high, like, be careful, you know, I don't care. Like, if you can lift it this much, that's fine. Like, wherever you can go, the main idea is balance, coordination, fluidity, all right? So, from here, when I go to lift my leg, the first thing I need to do is I actually need to turn my pelvis and my belly button so it's pointed more forward. So that's the first thing I need to do. I actually need to turn my waist. And if you need to turn your feet a little bit and your knees and hips so that they don't bother you, then you need to just turn everything more forward. You can even practice with your hands on your hips so that you understand that when you turn forward, okay, now I know I'm forward, I'm in a good position. My wings, so to speak, are facing forward as opposed to the side. So from here, I'm facing to the side on my surfboard, right? Here, I turn to face the front. From this position now, I want to bring my hands up just for balance, okay? If it was martial art, there'd be other reasons, but for us, our purposes, it's balance. Now, from this position, this leg is just going to swing a little and lift, and you're going to try and put it back. And I want you to go that slow, just like we just did. So my hands go on my hips. I pivot myself forward first. From here, my hands will come up for balance. I swing my leg a little, and I put it right back where it started. My hands come back to my hips. So from this position, don't hurt yourself, but I could go a little bit quicker with just that movement. Don't hurt yourself. But just that movement, I can go switch. Then just from there, this can be a little tiny bit quicker. And then from here, the leg, lift, put it back, put my hands on my hips. Pivot, lift, lift, put it back, hands on hips. Take the right foot, bring it forward to the left foot. Take your left foot, go 45 degrees back, you're on your surfboard. From this position, you're on your surfboard, your righty is forward. So from this position, surfboard, place hands on your hips. From this position, I need to pivot and turn so that my belly button faces the camera. I'm also going to turn my feet and my hips, my knees, to whatever degree I need to feel mostly comfortable here. From this position now, I lift my hands. From this position, I'm lifting my leg, and I'm going to put it right back where it was. Place my hands on my hips. From this position, I'm going to pivot my waist. I'm going to lift. That brings a stretch with it. Be careful, it should be just a minimal stretch. Hands on the hips. Pivot the hips to face the camera. Hands lift, foot lifts, bring back to this position. I move like this. I lift, and I come back to this position. I pivot to the front. Chest should be parallel with the camera there. I lift. You'll notice I didn't lift my hands on that one. That's another way to do it. You can, if your balance is good, you can keep your hands here on your hips and you can actually just lift. Or, especially if you're working on your balance, you might want to bring your hands up, lift, and come back to this. Good job. Happy legs up. All right. Does anyone know that Tai Chi is a martial art? It is. So if it's a martial art, why is it so slowed down? Now there are generations upon generations upon generations of Tai Chi people, Tai Chi masters. The focus is on a very slow movement and a very internal art and so on, right? And it has Qi in the name of it, and it's one of the most popular, technically it's the most popular form of Qigong. But do you know it stems from a martial art? Any idea why it might be slowed down? Do you think there are any karate masters who eventually became Tai Chi masters? Or Kung Fu masters who became Tai Chi masters? Yes. Do you know one of the reasons why that happened? Are any of you older now than you were when you were 20? Are any of you moving a little bit slower? You see where I'm going with this? Tai Chi is a slowed down martial art. Why? Because as people get older, they can't do martial art to that degree. But it's all Qigong, guys. It's all Qigong. You see a karate person, they may not call it Qigong. There's a lot of Qigong in there. Anyway, something to think about, all right? Let's put this together. That was a little brain break, hopefully, for you. Let's put a couple of these things together that I showed you. So our feet are together. We're going to be looking to our right side. So just take your left foot, put it out. Okay? Then readjust your stance so that you're kind of on a surfboard facing toward your right. All right? So like at home, you should be like this. You're on the surfboard, you're facing like this. From here, we have the pats on the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have lift with this arm. This is our snake. I'm going to show it to you from this angle. Now I look at my left side. From here, I have one right hand to left shoulder, Left hand to right shoulder, 2, 3, 4. From this position, here's my snake. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this position now. I'm showing it to you from this direction. I go back to my surfboard, I'm facing my right side. I have either 4 pats, or I come around once, twice. From here, look, there's the lift. So it looks like that. 1, 2, lift, snake. The snake, you see it? It travels. You know how we do the bow and arrow one? Archer's bow and arrow, right? So from here, the snake, it moves across the body like we do for archer's bow and arrow, but in this case, it's just gonna touch here. 1, 2, 3, 4. From that position, the left hand goes a little rogue as the snake. There's the snake. There's the snake. There's the snake. So if we go back to the right side, we lift our left hand, we're looking at our right side. We go right shoulder, right shoulder, okay? I can go left one more time, and there's my snake. That snake hand travels over here to the left shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. The left hand continues to move. There's my snake. So if I go to my right side, I have something like that. Lift. I go to the snake hand continues to travel. I have something like this on my left side. 2 times around, and I have my snake. From this position, I come up like the waterfall. This drops with a huh. From here, we then have ha, this movement, right? From here, we have ha, elbows back. From this movement, the hands turn over, one hand comes on top of the other, and you have this movement here, ha. Okay? Good job, shake it off. Brush your hair, brush your face, shake it off, lift your knees, give yourself a mini brain break. All right, here we go. We're gonna do it again now. Put it together. So from here, feet are together, step out, get on your surfboard facing toward your right side. From this position, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, we have lift, drop with the snake. The snake continues to travel to the left side. Here comes my 1, my 2, my 3, my 4. Here comes the snake. It's going to lift. From that position here, I come up to the waterfall position. From here, I drop. Ha. From here, the hands go ha. The elbows go ha. The hands come out ha. Okay, and you have this position. Now just come back for now. Come back to a waterfall. Oh. Calm it all down. Come back, calm it down again. Oh. One more. Oh. All right. Some of you, I'm sure, remember lemur pose. So from this position, we're going to do a basic, the very beginning basic lemur pose, because we're going to add that in today's practice too. You have a whole bunch of material by the time this practice is done. Some of you are ready for it. Some of you, it's a little premature. The good news is it's recorded. You can go back and watch it and practice it again later. Take your right foot, slide it back, kind of like we're on the surfboard, but with the lemur pose, you're going to drag this foot in, and we have this position which some of you are familiar with. It's sometimes referred to as a cat stance. The heel is off the floor. The idea is cats, they like get ready to prance, and this foot is light. This leg is more easily lifted. This leg is more heavy. Like in Tai Chi, a lot of times they put that weight on this leg back here, okay? But in some various martial arts and so on, this is a touch, like in Kung Fu. It's like a cat stance. From this position here, we draw this across our face. Some of you heard me joke about that. It's like the Madonna Vogue thing from the 80s. So here like this hand becomes a pushing downward over your knee. So you end up like this. So my right hand is back. It's like across my face, like so. Across my face, like so. My knee is bent, and this hand is over the knee. And the one other detail there is you want the rounded elbow. See how the elbow is rounded? It's not like a stiff arm. Rounded elbow. So you get this rounded elbow. Also, I don't want this hand on my face. Because when we think about like a medical Qigong idea, this is like a Wei Qi field, protective field. When we think about like martial art, if this is on your head, it isn't going to protect you, right? So that's going to protect me. Something comes to hit that, and it's a little ways away from my head, it's going to protect my head, okay? So from here, we have this kind of vibe and stance and so on. So this is a beginning lemur pose. From this position, take my right foot, bring it in, touch the left foot. I'm going to step back a little more so you can see my feet. Now I'm going to step back with my left foot. I'm going to drag my toes in because I want to go to this cat stance. From here, this becomes a press down. Right leg is in cat stance. Right foot, heel off the floor. Right hand pushing down in this direction. Left arm comes up over my head. This is the Vogue thing, right? So we end up something like that, okay? I'm gonna come back. Now we're gonna put just that piece together. Lemur pose one side, lemur pose the other side. It's gonna look like this, one basic way of switching. From here, my right foot goes back. I'm on my surfboard. I bring my left foot to me, it's up off the heel. From this position, I go Vogue with my right hand like I'm brushing the sweat off my brow. But I do want to keep my hand a little bit of ways away from my forehead once I understand the movement. From there, I want to press down with this left hand. So we end up getting this type of stance, this type of movement. The majority of my weight is on my right leg, my back leg. I bring the right leg forward. I step the left foot back, I'm on the surfboard. From this position, I'm going to drag my right foot. I'm up on the cat stance. From this position, this is a press down with the right hand. The left hand pulls back. This is the Vogue thing, brushing the sweat off my forehead, that kind of idea. From here, we get this position. From here, come back. Take your right foot, go back behind you to your surfboard, pull to your cat stance right away, and bring your hands to this position. This is your lemur pose. Once you understand it, bring feet together. Left foot goes back. Come up to the cat stance. Pull the foot. It's up on a heel, up off the heel. From this position, push down. From this position here. So once I get it and understand it, I can transition from there to there, to there, feet together. I can transition to there. That'll take some time, okay? But this is the idea. Take a breather, tap it out. We have a few minutes left. I'm going to try and put this all together for you now. Lift, lift, lift. Little circles with the leg, circles. Sweep the floor, circle. Same thing, other leg, circle. Sweep the floor. Or just hold it in the air, be careful. Tap it out. All right, so we come to this position, some type of stance here, like I'm on my surfboard, I'm facing my right side. From here, I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, lift. There's the snake. The snake keeps moving, I turn to my left. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That hand continues to travel. There's my snake to my left side. From that position, inhale. Here I go Ha. There's my settle. From here, hands come out. Ha. Elbows, ha. Arms cross over, ha. From this position here, bring your hands around to a waterfall. Inhale, exhale. Bring your feet together. With your right foot, step back, lemur pose. Bring your right foot in. With your left foot, step back, lemur pose. Bring your foot in. Step your feet back out. Waterfall. Oh. From the beginning of class, bringing up the sea of Qi. Slow. Come down. The right hand comes out. Come up. And come down. Back to the waterfall. Oh. Back to either tapping the shoulders or circling hands to your right side and then bringing the snake on the right side with your right hand. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Then the right hand continues to travel. You have 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, 4 tap, somewhere in here. Don't worry about how elegant it is right now. Come up, come down. There's the snake. Come up, come down. In general, it's going to be like that. Okay? From here, inhale. Waterfall. Here, ha. From that position, rotate your arms around. Elongate your arms. Touch your hands together. Ha. Chamber the arms like doing elbows, but it's really just exhale the breath. Bring the chi into the belly. Elbows pushing to the back, ha. Then the hands come out, they're twisting, they cross each other. My left, or which one? My left is going on top, so whichever one you want to do, but one goes on top, figure out which one it is so that you don't get too confused. Then from there, inhale, waterfall. Oh. If you don't know lemur pose, just quit right there. If you know lemur pose, bring your feet together. Step back with your right foot. Draw the arms up. If you don't know lemur pose, go back and watch it. You'll learn it. If you practice with me a little more often, you'll absolutely learn this one. Then the left foot goes back. I draw the right foot. I'm back in the lemur pose here. From this position, I can step out. 1 more waterfall. Exhale. If I want to smooth it out further, bring up the Sea of Qi. Sea of Qi is another name for the lower dantian. I come down, smooth it out through this arm. Come back to the other side, come up. Smooth it out through this arm. Shake it off, finger flick. Stand for a moment, be still, standing Wuji posture. Bring all your concentration, all your focus right into your 2 eyes, right in between your 2 eyes, right to the front of your forehead. Relax your shoulders as much as possible. Know that there's a floor. Put your mind in your feet. Be aware of the floor. Hold the floor. Hold your body and hold your energy still. How does one hold one's energy still? Imagine how it is that you hold a teacup, but in this case, a teacup that you wrap your hand around, not just by the handle, but you hold it all the way around. You're holding a cup or like a glass. You want to use your mind to hold your energy like that. Hold it. Hold it still, steady. So if there was water in the cup or tea filled all the way up to the top, hold it so still that you're not going to spill any of the tea. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. One more exhale. Tap it out. All right, good job. All right, so these are some new things for you guys to play with. Some of you played with some of this stuff before, so you can start to put it together. And again, there's a very fine line between martial art and Qigong, especially if you look at the Shaolin Temple, you look at the Chinese Kung Fu practices. It's really hard to differentiate where is Qigong happening and where is martial art happening, except that you see a movement in the park where the Qigong, or Kung Fu person is doing some type of movement like that. And you're thinking, well, is that Qigong or is it martial art? Because when the person does it in the park and they do this movement, you're like, wow, that's Qigong. But then you literally see the Kung Fu practitioner and they break a brick with their hand right there. And that's when you go, oh, that's martial art. But this idea that it's one versus the other, this is a very Americanized idea. And if you really get into those practices, like I said, in China, there's not a, you can go to certain schools and they say it's a Qigong school. And you go in there and they're kicking and punching each other. And you're like, wait a second, I thought this was a Qigong school. So there's a lot of different lines of approach there. And one of the most important pieces, I think, for me, because this is how I healed my spine and healed my body, how I stay healthy, so on and so forth. I like it. It's a wonderful form of fitness. It's also a wonderful form of medicine. But those of you that have heard the story before know the story of Bodhidharma coming over to China and bringing Buddhism, and the Chinese government saying, we don't want your form of Buddhism. And he retreats to the Shaolin Temple, and the monks there are lazy. Their body, they're not in shape. They refer to their bodies as bags. They don't really care about taking care of themselves. And, for me, that wasn't an option. I was in too much pain and so on and so forth. Once you understand these movements, depending on your age, depending on your strength and capability, to me, it doesn't really matter, like, what speed do you do it? It's like, what is comfortable for you? What can your body handle? And all of those things in your shoulders and that you feel in your waist that are tense and so on, these kinds of exercises get in there and they break that up. A lot of people are very afraid, of course, to feel uncomfortable in their body and feel pain. But the truth is that pain, we already have pain, number one. And number two, when you practice, wherever your chi is, that's the place that's going to throb for you. So whoever's moving around and your microphone is on, please stop moving or turn your microphone off. Thank you. So when you feel that tension in your shoulders or your back or wherever it's aching, I want you to know something. That is thawing out that area of stagnation. It is dissolving that area of pain. And one day, on the last note, for those of you still hanging in there, and just show you one thing real quick, is that one day, if you desire, okay, doesn't matter, but if you desire and you want to make it look more like Kung Fu, and you actually want to shoot, and then of course out of this lemur position can come in. Then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that like really looks like martial art, right? But it's all Qigong and just different levels of doing the practice, okay? So on a scale of 1 to 10, practice it to the level of a 2, practice it to the level of a 5, maybe later you can practice it more, but keep it somewhere in those ranges, play with it, do what works for you. It's a wonderful practice. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Recording will be up in about a half hour.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for practicing with me.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
David.
My pleasure. I love it.
Thank you, David. Take care.
You got it, brother.
Bye.